Hey, if you want to know what's really going on with the housing market up here in North Florida's Jacksonville metro area, this is the show for you. And man, oh man, this past week, interest rates shot up and so did home sales. Oh my God, wait until you see the numbers. And speaking of numbers, I go over the real numbers for you to find out what's really happening in the real estate market up here with the housing in Northeast Florida. And I'm going to get to all this right now. Hey, I'm Tom Kerr, and I'm your host of this show, Bubble Watch. That's right. That's where we look at the real numbers in real estate. Hey, I'm just a regular guy who happens to be a real estate agent up here in Northeast Florida. And you know what? That means I have access to an MLS system. That's multiple listing services. Every week I share the back end of my MLS account with you to look at these real numbers to see what's really going on. We don't just go by what a bunch of people make a hypothetical list, okay? I'll get it out, and just an educated guess there, that's easier to say. But you know what? I look at the real numbers, what's going on, and I put them together in an Excel spreadsheet that's easy to read, and then I present all that to you in this show so that you can decide whether you should buy or you should sell up here. Hey, you know what? After watching this video, if you like what you see, give it a thumbs up. If you want to be part of Bubble Watch Nation, then just subscribe. And if you want to use me or a member of my real estate group to help you buy or sell a house up here, then just give us a call at this phone number here or shoot us an email at this email. Hey, this is Bubble Watch Season 2, Week 12. I've been doing it for over a year every week, and we're getting right to it now. The back of the MLS, we're going to look at those active listings. Okay, here we are. Let's click on those active listings and see what we've got. We've got 5,974. All right, now let's look at what's sold in the last 7 days. That number is 703. Next, we're going to go to contingent taking backup, and that number is 722. Next is what's pending. We're going to look at those that went pending in the last 7 days. That number is 697. Next thing we look at is how many were withdrawn. These are listings that people took off the market temporarily. That number is 80. Next, we're going to look at how many listings expired in the last 7 days. And these are listings that did not sell and they just expired. That number is 240. Okay, now we're going to take a look at the new construction numbers, and we want to see, okay, how many new homes did we show sold in the last 7 days. Okay, that number is 182. Now we're going to look at how many new homes are active for sale, and that number is 1,693. Okay, next we go and take a look at those that are statused in foreclosure, pre-foreclosure, and short sale status. And these are active listings that are in those statuses. So these are ones that are for sale, but they are in foreclosure, pre-foreclosure, and short sales. The foreclosures are 18. Pre-foreclosures are 12. And the short sales are 13. Okay. Going to take all that, and I get all those numbers and all this data compiled together. It looks a mess when you first get it like this, and then I put it together in a more organized Excel spreadsheet. Before we get to that, let's get to these other graphs and stuff, and let's look and see what those interest rates did over the past 7 days. Okay, here we have the 30-year fixed rate, and boy, oh boy, we are in the sevens, okay? Nothing below 7 this past week. Started there at 712, dipped a couple times, went up, and ended up at 7.2. All right, let's look at the VA. VA didn't hit the 7 mark, okay? Still there. They're knocking on the door, though. Today it ended at 6.95. And let's look at those FHAs, because they're generally lower. It started at 6.8 last week. That's where we ended up. And it went to 6.92. Same thing, the same amount of arrows up and same amount of arrows down. Okay, these crazy interest rates going up. I mean, I'm telling you, wait until you see this, compare the sales numbers, okay? Now let's take a look at those graphs that show the price per square foot, the days on the market, median price, and the inventory. All right, let's start off with the price per square foot. All right, here we are, and oh my gosh. Look at what's happening here. Oh boy. I mean, we almost matched. We got bookends there. All right, that's 6 months. Let's look a year out, and you can really see, okay, here was that big slump, okay? The last quarter of last year when everything was going down the toilet. And remember, all as it's going down here and it hits this spot here, okay, that's when everyone says, okay, we've crashed, you know, it's going to get even worse. It's going more and more. Well, it turned around. It looked like that was the end. We saw headlines that said that it would be going up. Let's look at it back further. I love looking at this. And look at that, you know, how it went up, 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 up. It stopped. But that slide down didn't go as fast as it went up. And now we're making the turn. All right, the inventory right here. Let's narrow it down a little bit. And you can see, well, it looks like it may have stabilized. Let's zoom in a little more. Yep. We had it going up, 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 and then now it just kind of, you know, made a little turn there. We'll see how those numbers look when we look at the charts, okay? Next, we're going to look at the median price per house. Okay, that median price is still going up, okay? Took a little bit of a bend there, but it's still on that upward trend, and that goes along with our price per square foot. Days on the market. All right. Look at this. Holy cow. I mean, it's just dropping. And as it drops, what does that tell us? Remember, I've been saying, you know, we have to watch this because we're going to watch another set of numbers when we watch along with these, and those numbers are the ones that have, you know, that when they show, you know, the amount of homes that sold above list, okay? When we see that, when those numbers go up, then these numbers go down because you get multiple offers and people are going under contract a lot sooner. All right, now let's go ahead and start looking at those charts. All right, we start off here with my main Excel spreadsheet, and here we are. And for those of you that are new, we look week by week, and in the column are these current weeks so that you can compare with the prior weeks. As you see, we're in season 2, so we're in week 12. That's right here. But look back, there's week 11, 10, and 9, and so forth. It goes back. And then right next to it, week 12 ending. That was back in last year. So we've got a real year over year. Whoops, something went off on my phone there. Okay, distracted me. But we got a real year over year, okay, thing here. So what do we have here? Active 5974, sold 703. Look at that from the previous weeks: 462, 525, 561, 703. Holy cow. And you know, not too far from last year's numbers there, right? Only 1.59% difference, okay? Contingent taking back up, 722, that's down a little bit. The numbers that went pending, 697, that's pretty close to what it's been, but the overall under contract is down 1419, which could mean why we see more sales, okay? All right, withdrawn, 80, okay? That's, you know, close to what it was the week before and the week before that, and almost like it was a year ago. Expired, 240, that's a big jump. We were there, look back, 135, 129, 129, now 240, a lot, okay? And new homes sold, 182, so we've seen a jump there. And the new homes active inventory down to 1693. Man, there's so many things going on with this chart here, okay? And then what people have been telling us also. Now think about those numbers, you know. I mean, again, with these interest rates and these prices, I mean, the prices are going up, the interest rates are going up, but the sales are still going up, okay? I know there's a lot of people says the crash is coming this year. You know, that's why we're bubble watch. You know, we're watching for it. But we'll see. In a new home inventory, okay? That new home inventory, everyone's saying, oh, it's going to go up, up, up. They're going to be stuck with all these houses. Well, no, it's going down. And the sales are going up there too, okay? The reason with the new home inventory the way it is and the sales is because there's a lack of inventory for the resale homes. So we're seeing that. All right, let's now wait, before we get to the next chart here, I need to show you something, okay? Take a look at this, why we got so much sales. Okay, right here, now some of you may not understand what this means to Jacksonville area. Okay, Miami home prices have people fleeing for the first time since the 1970s. Okay, so what do we got here? It says right here, if you look, you know, down there in Dade County, you know, the population shrank from 2019 to 22. The largest since 1970. Okay, over 80,000 or almost 80,000 people. Okay, left. Okay. Okay. Well, yes, they're leaving because people from out of Florida are moving to Miami in record numbers and causing the prices to go up and forcing, plus, you know, forcing a lot of people to leave that area to something more affordable. So they've got equity though, a lot of these people that are down there, okay, in these homes. And if you looked at a past Bubble Watch, if you've been following me, you saw the sample of a house that I bought and what happened and what it's worth now, which is ridiculous. And I was showing how it's unaffordable with today's income. So where are these people moving to? All right, they're moving up here, okay? The people local to this Jacksonville area, okay, say these prices are just ridiculous they are compared to 2019. What the price of a home now, it's under $300,000. You better plan on fixing it up, okay? But it's still better than South Florida, and the people are coming here. And then of course it's better than other parts of the country, and that drives up the sales. Check this out. 1 in 4 U.S. home buyers want to move to a different city. That's 25% don't like where they're living and want to move somewhere else. And where are they all moving to? Well, half of the top 10 are Florida. Check it out. Right there, Florida, 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 Florida. Okay, of course there's the Miami, what I was telling you about, people moving down there into Miami. But also that Tampa and Orlando too. Now, people moving into Tampa and Orlando, they're squeezing those people that are there now too out, and they're coming to a place like Northeast Florida. The Jacksonville metro area is a lot more desirable to a lot of these folks, okay? Because you're still close to the coast. You got the beaches, okay? You're closer to the mountains in Georgia if you want to go there for a weekend also. All right, let's look at the rest of these charts. All right, homes that sold for $500,000 and above. 28% of the homes sold were at $500,000 and above. So that's up from last week, down from a couple weeks before. Homes that sold under list, 64%, about the same. Homes that sold at list, 15%. And the homes that sold above list, 21%. And remember, that above list number is one we have to watch. Okay, we held steady from last week. It was going up, up, up to 20, then it dropped for a couple weeks, but now it's back up. How are people paying for those houses? All right, this is how they're paying. 25% are paying cash. Just think, 1/4 of the homes sold are cash buyers. 40% conventional, 16 FHA, 16 VA, and 3% other. Okay, let's take a look at those foreclosure numbers we saw. 18 are in foreclosure. Now these are active listings for sale, okay, that are in foreclosure status. 18, 12 pre-foreclosure, 13 short sales, a total of 43. That's a drop from last week. And when you look across all these, it's been pretty constant. Again, we were told that the foreclosure dam was going to burst like the levees did in New Orleans, and it just hasn't happened. Okay, we're not seeing it. Doesn't mean it can't. Okay, it can, but I'm just not seeing it here. All right, let's finish this off, these charts. Okay, new construction, 50% were sold under list. Okay, that is down from last week. So where'd those numbers go? Well, sold at list, 11% down. Homes sold above list, 39%. Look at that jump. That's incredible. I mean, I wasn't even expecting that. All right, now the next thing is I look at MLS Advantage. And the MLS Advantage, okay, everything we've been looking at right now is my MLS that I belong to, which is the Northeast Florida MLS. MLS Advantage takes in a lot of these smaller MLS boards that are around us. They're more over towards the coast, but they can be in other places too. And even some people come from Orlando area, which is another MLS, and they'll come up here and sell something. So it adds to it. So what I do is, this MLS Advantage picks up these other boards and that the Northeast Florida misses. And so we're going to look at the solds in the 7 counties up here that make up the Jacksonville, or 9 counties that make up the Jacksonville Metro. And those 9 counties are Baker, Union, Bradford, Clay, Nassau, Duval, St. John's, Flagler, and Putnam. Okay, here we are in the MLS Advantage where you see I've got those 9 counties all right there. So what we do is we're going to look at 1 week sales up here, and we're going to go ahead and hit that search button and see what we get. 1,025. Man, 1,025. Holy crap. That is a lot, okay? In this, I mean, with these rates, these prices, oh my gosh. I mean, you're talking over 300 more homes from these outsiders selling in our area. But I'm an outsider too. Sometimes I sell in their areas. So, holy cow. Hey, something I got a question from some folks is, okay, when you just saw these charts, like here, my Excel spreadsheets that I bring up here where I have all the different numbers, and these go all the way back. These sheets go all the way back to when I started doing this, you know, when I take those numbers. So you can see that. So if you have this spreadsheet, and I offer it downloaded in my weekly newsletter, and what has happened is some people told me when they open it up in the newsletter that it doesn't look just like this, but I'm going to show you what happens and what you got to do. And by the way, if you don't get the newsletter and you want it and all that, then just send me an email at here telling me that you want to subscribe to the newsletter, or you can text me at my number here with your email and I'll do the same thing. But let me show you what's happening, okay? This here is what the newsletter will look like, okay, when you scroll. Now I always got something here that's not real estate related at the beginning, and then here's a lot of the stuff that we cover through here, okay, where I show the MLS sheets of the houses of the week and stuff like that, and the headlines and all. Plus I'll just show you, plus a lot more, different homes at different price ranges and zip codes. But what I wanted to show you right here, my Excel data spreadsheet from Bubble Watch. All right, if you click on it here and log, sometimes what you'll have to do is you'll just have to scroll down at the bottom. Okay, it depends on how it comes set up. So if you don't see it complete, you know, then you'll sit there and you'll just scroll through to look at it, to get to the whole thing, and then just line it up on the sides. But for some reason it doesn't come up the way I leave it. Okay, now it's time for the question of the week before we get to the houses of the week, okay? And I remember a lot of people that know everything, they don't want to listen to the question. That's all right. Just move on to the houses of the week. You're not going to hurt me. But if you want to hear what the question is, then here we go. All right, at closing, the question I get from buyers, and all these questions are actual questions I get from people, is, okay, now I've signed the papers. When do I get the keys to the house? Okay, do I get the keys to the house right after I sign? And the answer is no. Okay, all right. Just because you feel like you signed all these papers, all right, for the house, that you should get those keys, right? But what happens is, okay, first of all, you know, you've got to be funded, okay? You're signing all the paperwork, and that's good, and then there's the transfer of the deed within that paperwork, but now the funding has to take place, okay? So the funding, okay, if you're paying cash, then you wire the money, or the lender, you know, has to get money, funded to the seller. All right, so that's a big one. Now, this is one of the things that really can go wrong, okay? For somebody closing, a lot of people just time it exactly, all right? I'm closing to this one and I'm moving into this one, all right? Well, when you're cutting it like that, and I've seen them in my office, the people there, where they've got the kids and the dogs and the cats and everything else in the minivan outside on their way to the other house, but it doesn't close, especially if it's a Friday. That's a disaster Friday afternoon. And let me tell you what can go wrong. If that funding, the wire transfer, doesn't happen in time, okay, it may be delayed till the next day, or something goes wrong with these fundings. All right, you don't get the keys, okay, until the funding comes. All right, there's still one more step after the funding though, but you might, if it's a Friday, that means you don't have that weekend. You got to wait till Monday. That's why I like the close like earlier, not later. And I tell you what, a lot of buyers are doing. They're getting their money now. If they're, if it's a cash deal, they'll do it the day before closing to get the funding over. You would have to check with your bank if they would do such a thing. But that helps alleviate that. But man, these closings that are 3 o'clock in the afternoon, if something goes wrong, and sometimes they do, and things have to be refaxed to the lender, or there's some clarification on this or that, or something crops up that we didn't see, okay, it happens. You don't want to be that person that's on a Friday afternoon with your minivan loaded with the kids and the dogs and the cats, and you can't move in to any place, all right? Now try to find a hotel. All right, so that's the problem. The next thing is the deed has to be transferred, all right? And that has to go. So the title company takes care of all that, but that has to be recorded with the county. And that's another thing, depending on what county you're in, you got to make sure that they'll do it, that day, okay? Because until that deed is recorded, you don't own that property. So you don't get the keys. Now, will the seller give you the keys anyhow if the funding's there and and the deed hasn't recorded? A lot of times, yeah, they don't have to. So, all right. So let's go to the houses of the week now. All right. Before I get to the 2 regular houses for up here in this area, I saw a headline, okay, of a house, and I want to show you this house. All right, this house here is in Hollywood, California, North Hollywood, California. Why am I showing you that? Well, it's under contract, isn't sold. It's listed at $5.5 million. Now, that's a good size house, 5-bedroom, 5-bath. But what the heck's so special about it? Well, if you look at the front picture here, it might give you kind of a clue. But when you start looking at the inside, does this house look familiar? That's right, it's the Brady Bunch house. That's right, the Brady Bunch house is up for sale and it's got a buyer. Now, we won't know until they close to how much that it sells for, but this is the inside of the house. And as you can see, it's set up just like it was, for the TV show back then. I mean, what they actually did, they went through, now they said that filming was done on the outside of the house, never inside. Inside was in a studio, and they recreated the inside of this house to match that studio exactly. So that's what you got. So it would be interesting to see who buys it and what the deal is. Okay, and something else that was interesting, it is the 2nd most photographed house in the United States, and the first being the White House. Imagine that, a little bit of trivia. All right. Let's go to our houses of the week, and we're going to start off with the house that sold above list. Okay, this house here was listed at $338,990, and usually when you see a weird number like that, then that means it's a new construction, and that is what this is. It went on the market January 11th of this year, and as you know, prices have been going up. You can see right there, days on the market, 138. Well, in going along with prices going up, here's what they ended up listing it as. Okay, they rose that price from $338,990 all the way to $370,990. Okay, but did they get that for it? Nope, they got a little bit less, but they still got $368,990. So they got $30,000 above asking price on a new construction loan. So this is one of those numbers that was really jacked up. This was a home, a D.R. Horton home, and it went FHA. So that increase of $30,000, it's still appraised. okay, which is amazing. And because it's a new construction home, we won't be doing the appreciation calculator on this one. Okay, now let's go to the house that sold below list and see what that was. Okay, that house there went on the market at $615,000. It was on the market for 128 days. They kept reducing it until they got down to $570,000, and it ended up selling for $420,000. Okay, that's $195,000 below asking price. All right, holy crap! I mean, was that way overpriced, I guess, right? Okay. Now, when we saw those numbers that were those houses expired listings, those are the people that didn't reduce their prices from $600,000, okay? All right, but let's see, you know those automated price valuations that are online? Okay, you know, you'll see them at Zillow's estimate and all, but they didn't have a Zestimate for this, so I went to Realtor.com, and this is what they showed. Now, keep in mind that this house here sold for $420,000, but over here they call it the real estimate, and I guess CoreLogic is probably the closest, but they use 3 different ones to give you an idea. But look at CoreLogic, it was the lowest at $547,991. All the others still in the 5. These people got it for $420,000. I mean, remember, it was they put in that bid at $420,000 when the price was $570,000. Okay, so I don't know what was going on with this with this house and that, but it looks like they got a heck of a deal. It looks like a really nice house, brick home, and all this and that. Like I said, the full MLS sheet is in my newsletter, and so I mean that's just absolutely incredible. And this house was brand new, and when I looked at it, you know what it was bought for. Well, all you see is the vacant land. And so they probably bought the land and then they had the house built on it. And so this was a new home that these were the original owners in there. So that was a cherry house to get. So, all right, so this was week 12. Lucky 13's next week. And until then, I'm out of here.